Welcome to Biz Coach and Coffee, where our guests are experts, entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants that share tips, strategies, and tactics to help small business entrepreneurs grow their business for long-term success. Please welcome your host, Biz Coach Steve Feld.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Biz Coach and Coffee. Today we have another wonderful guest, Ellen Finkelstein. Ellen teaches online entrepreneurs who have a positive message to create a flourishing online business. I mean, how great is that? I mean, she does this by reaching more people through writing and speaking and guiding them towards strategy and technology that's going to help them reach their goals. With over 15 years online, Ellen has created websites with high search engine rankings and over 300,000 visitors per month, over 24,000 subscribers, and many of the followers on social media. I mean, wow, would you like that in your business? She's also a published author with books ranging from 200 to 1,200 pages. So let's welcome up Ellen. Thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Steve.
One of the big things I always ask right out of the gate, because we want people to get to know you, is tell us a little bit about yourself and who do you serve? I mean, we gave it a little bit in the intro, but let's hear it from you.
Sure. As you could tell, and as you just said, I started out, well, maybe we didn't say I started out, but I started out writing books for major publishers, the ones that you see behind me. And as such, I was taking knowledge that I had about AutoCAD or PowerPoint or Flash or whatever it was and writing about it. And what happened was I started a website as an author platform. And through that website, started learning how to build my own business online. And finally figured out that even that, like that top book, it ended up being 1,200 pages, that book on AutoCAD. And I got 10% of the wholesale price. The full wholesale price was $50. So at most I got $2.50 per book. Now that I can't knock it. It sold a lot of copies. It paid the down payment, that and other royalties paid the down payment for my house. But still, I finally realized that I could sell my own ebooks off my website and get 97% of the cost, just paying the PayPal fee. And so that was how I learned. I started blogging, created an email list and so on like that. And then in 2010 or so, I got together some people in my living room and tried to teach them basically how to do what I had done, which was to start an online business. I live in a small town. There weren't a lot of jobs, and I wanted them to be able to create their own living. And that's how I created ChangeTheWorldMarketing.com. And I just decided I really wanted to, I ended up going more in that direction. And I help people who have knowledge, like I did, but I help them create online products, online courses, and make a living with it online. So turn that knowledge into some type of online products or courses. So those are people I help. They're experts, they have knowledge, they're maybe practitioners, coaches, consultants. They could be, they could have learned their knowledge in the corporate world in almost any place.
You mentioned like the experts, coaches, consultants to start that online business. Now, do you think you can set up an online business for other kind of industries, other kind of businesses?
Give me an example of what kind of business you would mean, because it's very wide already.
Right. Yeah. I was saying, could you do it for just about any type of business? Not just what you mentioned.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be able to help, let's say, a large brick and mortar store go online and create an e-commerce site. That's not what I do, because they were still selling products, Mm-hmm. And so I'm helping people sell knowledge, but it could be in any type of area that they have knowledge in, whatever it is. Yes.
Gotcha. Excellent. Now, our tribe is a lot of small business owners. What would you say to them on getting out there? Because you had some very impressive numbers of hits on the site and social media followers. What kind of one tip you can give them to get that, grow their businesses through those type of channels?
So first of all, I did it over a period of time. I don't have any quick fixes for it. And I started my first website in 1999. And that one, which was the author platform, was very focused on the books that I was writing about. So it was on AutoCAD, which is a drafting program, PowerPoint. And so you have to, and those are both topics that people, they're software programs that people use and they need information on. So you need to have a topic that people are interested in. I think that's sort of your first thing, is to know who your target market is and what they need. I did a lot of blogging. And so there was a lot of content up there. So, and nowadays, that was before social media, but nowadays we can create content on our own blog, but you can also post it on social media. And that can include things like Medium or, other sites as well. And so you need to have a lot of content and be consistent with it. And it needs to be focused on what your target market needs. And then you need to go out and you need to offer something. You need to grow an email list. So I'm pretty strong about that. I was just speaking to someone this morning who said he thinks he's overwhelmed with emails and he doesn't think people look at them. And every time he signs up for something, he immediately unsubscribes. We don't like people like that. But what was interesting is that his own experience was so overwhelming that he assumed that other people didn't want to get emails either. And so he had just gone away from email marketing completely. But you need to reach out to people and offer them something consistently.
Excellent. So yeah, repurposing that content, reusing it, that's phenomenal. One quick question. I mean, you've built businesses. Not everything goes well. Tell us about a challenge that you overcame in business, because a lot of business owners think it's all about unicorns, sparkles. There's a lot of challenges. Can you tell us a challenge that you had in your business?
Yes, I'll tell you a story. One of the things I started writing about pretty early on was PowerPoint. And I wrote several books for McGraw-Hill, mostly McGraw-Hill on PowerPoint. And I also wrote an article for a presentations magazine that doesn't exist anymore. But so I wrote an article called Presentations Without Bullets. And it was a print magazine at that time. And the next month, someone wrote a letter to the editor saying, "How can you give us such a bad example of slides? It has no focus. Please give us better examples," like referring to my article, to my example. And I was mortified. And what was so embarrassing was that I had already written several books and obviously had used examples of slides that I realized then were awful. And I'm not a designer, but yet I needed to teach people how to do that. And we had just moved in. Remember, I talked about paying the down payment of this house. We had just moved into the new house. I had a mortgage to pay. And so I needed to really learn quickly how to design slides, even though I wasn't a designer. So I started going to a presentation conference and learning about it, and basically fix that problem, learn techniques so that I could design slides that were clear and powerful, and that I could show others how to do it using those simple techniques. And so I think sometimes we have to overcome some of the disadvantages that we have. First of all, we have to realize that we have a problem, and then we have to learn ways of overcoming them. So that worked. Yeah.
Amazing. It's always amazing, because I talk to business owners all the time, like it took you years to build up these kind of followings, overcoming challenges. And a lot of business owners think it's going to be just a smooth ride, and they got to realize that there's many ways to build a business, and there's going to always be an obstacle or two. What's kind of one tip you can share with everyone to help them, that they can implement or grow their business right away, that they can do on their own?
There are so many things. So I do think that being consistent with your message and with emails are really important. And I don't know how many people in your group are actually physical businesses, but during COVID, businesses that had an email list were able to reach out to their customers, and those that didn't had no way to do it. And you just think of, let's say, a store that we have a local store, it's called the At Home Store. It has like kitchen things and so on like that. And because they had developed an email list, they could reach out and say, you know what, we're accepting people to come to the door. Please wear a mask, and we're wearing masks, and you can come one by one. And they were able to maintain their business because they could reach out. And so often physical businesses don't think of that. For example, I'm amazed at how few restaurants collect emails. And every once in a while, I'll see a little thing that says, give us your email and we'll give you a coupon for 10% off your next meal. And then they can send out, doesn't have to be COVID, they can just send out emails saying, we're having a sale on this, or we're having, we're giving you a discount on this, or bring a friend, or we'll give your friend a discount. Or you can just reach out to people. A gift store can reach out and say, we have a new shipment of this kind of stuff coming in. And so I just think that every business can use email. What they've been doing is they've been using things like Facebook pages, but I think that's not as reliable. I don't think people should stop using Facebook pages, and because businesses should have them, but lots of people don't look at that stuff. And emails, you're kind of forcing it out to people. As long as they have accepted to get it, have agreed to get it, I think you'll reach more people. And using two methods is always better than using one.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I had a client who owned a restaurant, and when COVID hit, they freaked out because they were told to close down. But I said, I know you have a very active social media presence, and you've been collecting emails and a newsletter. You have a newsletter every month on tips about food and everything else. How many people do you have active on your list? And they're like, oh, about 64,000. It was like, oh my gosh. And they're consistent.
That's amazing.
There we go. There's our hope. And we put together a little program. Their business actually grew during COVID with not one person walking in the door. They didn't lay off anyone. They actually hired more people. It's one of those beautiful things because they collected their clients' emails. It was that simple.
Steve, that's a great story. Yep.
I think that's a wonderful tip. And, I'm about giving and trying to help business owners survive and thrive. Do you have a gift that you could possibly give our listeners to help them survive and thrive and grow their businesses?
So, yeah, I would like to, I have a free offer that's called 13 Steps to a Successful Online Business. And it's kind of the basics of the steps that you need to go through, but it also has some more advanced videos there. And I think it'll be a good overall start because I don't know where people are right now. Some of them might be more advanced and some might not be, but that's a good place to start. And it will cover, besides those 13 steps, it will cover growing your email list, and it will cover some other things as well. So yeah, I'll offer that. Can I give you the URL now, or?
I will actually be posting the URL below the videos and inside of all the content. Absolutely. Folks, that's a phenomenal gift. So if you don't even know where to start, I mean, how great is that? She's giving you 13 steps how to start to do all this, to grow that big email list. And one more question. It's like, how can people get a hold of you if they say, hey, I need your help? Because all this great content, they have to put it in action. But if they need a little bit more, how can they get a hold of you?
So people can just go to changetheworldmarketing.com, and there's a contact link there, or you can sign up for anything and then you'll get emails from me and you can just click reply. My email address is ellen@changetheworldmarketing.com. So definitely reach out and let me know what your questions are, what your issues are. And I have so many blog posts, I can almost always direct you to a blog post that will answer your question. So there are lots of resources there.
Excellent. Fantastic. We will have actually all that information down below as well, and in all of our postings. Ellen, I want to say, wow, if you're not online and doing something online, people, now is a great time. She's giving you the help to do that. Ellen, I want to say thank you very much for being our guest today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
And everyone else, please make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode of Biz Coach and Coffee. I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld. Have a great day.
This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your expert book completed in 30 days. If you don't have an expert lead magnet book about you and how you serve your market, then visit www.spotlight-books.com. Link is also in the show notes. Put a spotlight on your expertise. We hope you enjoyed today's topic. If you'd like to discuss how you can apply these strategies in your business, let us know. This episode is sponsored by Spotlight Books. Get your own expert book written about you in 30 days. Set yourself apart from the competition. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Also, feel free to give us your comments. We look forward to hearing from you on Biz Coach and Coffee.